The dog days of summer are behind us. Tomorrow night, the bright lights return to Texas stadiums across the state. It will shine brightest in Grayson County. From Bells to Whitesboro, Gunner to Pottsboro, and Van Alstyne up 75 to Denison. Football season has made its return to Lone Star State, and it all starts right here at the KTEN Sports High School Football Preview Show, Texas Edition. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Munson Stadium, home of the Denison Yellow Jackets. We're coming up tomorrow night. The 120th edition of the Battle of the Axe will take place right here on this field. Joining us with more, Brendan Agins is over there with the head coach of the Denison Yellow Jackets, Chad Rogers, as they try to get a 6th straight win in this historic rivalry.
Yeah, Dan, we're joined now by the head coach of the Denison Yellow Jackets, Coach Chad Rogers. First off, Coach, thanks for joining us. I know it's a busy time with you guys getting ready for a game, but appreciate the time.
Yeah, no problem. It's always a good time, always exciting. Very exciting time of year, for sure.
And you talk about that time of year, getting ready for the season, all the stuff that goes into off-season workouts. Now the season's finally ready to kick off. Just what's the excitement like with your team and in the locker room one day away from game time?
You know, we're really excited. You know, the kids are excited. We had a really good spring, had a good summer. Attendance was up, had a lot of good work ethic. It's hot, it's been hot. You know, getting in shape and just a lot of stuff that goes into starting a season. So once you get the season started, everything just kind of falls into place. You got a routine that you get into. Kids like routines, you know, people like routines, and that's what we're getting to get into, and we're excited about it. You just can't, you know, excited to watch the kids play, and you know, a lot of excitement generating around both communities, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
And with high school football specifically, one of the challenges and one of the exciting things as a coach is that every team has a different personality. You've got some guys that left, some new guys coming. What are you looking forward to with this specific version of the Denison Yellow Jackets?
Well, it's chemistry, and I talk about that. It's their makeup of what they will accept from each other. You know, so that's the buzzword now is culture. Everybody says, where's your culture at? Where's your kids accept? But I think it's chemistry of how, when they start playing for each other and they don't want to let each other down, they're not late to practice. They're finishing their sprints. They're lining up fast. They're blocking for each other. The running backs make the linemen feel good. The secondary, when they get an interception, make the D-line feel good. You're going to be more successful. It's going to be more fun that way. Everybody breaks out to family, but that's what a family does. It's molded chemistry, and as the buzzword is now, is your culture. So where's your culture at? How accountable are your kids holding each other?
And this year, that chemistry and culture is going to be tested right off the bat with that huge rivalry game, Battle of the Axe, shifting from the last game of the year to the first game of the season. As you get ready for that game tomorrow, what are some of the differences with it being week one, and how has that maybe changed the mindset during the off season coming into this week one game?
You know, it kind of gave a little bit more incentive to the summer, but what we've done for the last 5 years and even the 6 years is it's not, you know, it's not about who we play. It's not about Sherman. It's never been about Sherman. It's about us. It's about our kids in our locker room and our coaches in our coach's office and our community. We spend time on that. You know, there's a reason that when our kids take the field, they don't scream. You know, they don't taunt. You know, they're not scared. They don't need to do that, and that's what we tell them all the time. We've got one unsportsmanlike penalty in 4 years. You know, and that's what we spend time on. We spend time on us. We don't worry about what anybody else is saying. Our time should be spent on us, and we should be taking care of our business. Our coach should be coaching our kids, and you know, and not worrying about outside stuff. And our kids do it's called clutter. You know, and when your brain, you can only think about one thing at a time. So we don't worry about all that stuff, and our kids have done a great job of staying focused on that. And you know, it's not about keeping the axe from anybody. It's about keeping it where our kids want it to be, and that's in Denison. So that's what we've done.
And when we find out where the Axe will be, that'll be tomorrow night. We'll have full coverage of that one for you on KTEN News. Coach, really appreciate you taking the time for us, and we'll be watching throughout the season.
Appreciate you guys.
Back to you, Dan.
Chad Rogers is a cool cat, isn't he? Thank you, Brendan. Well, we know there's two sides to every story, and just south of here, the Sherman Bearcats and head coach J.D. Martinez, they're fighting with that hunger of not having the Axe since 2012, and they want to take it back this season. The Sherman Bearcats do not plan on being outworked this fall.
To do our best, honestly. I mean, no matter how we finish the season, I think everybody will be satisfied as long as we're working hard.
Play after play, sprint after sprint when we're running them. There's not any quit in them, I can tell you that.
The Bearcats made it back to the playoffs in 2017, but lost in the first round by one possession.
Yeah, I think we set the bar high last year by making the playoffs for the first time in a while and, getting to that game and almost winning it. So I think the same thing is expected this year. Get to that game, go out there and win that first game, get to the second round and see what we can do after that.
The outcome of it made me that much more ready for the next one. So I hope we get there this year, but I loved the intensity of it. I loved how hyped it was, and it was fun to be out there.
We have a lot of kids that are going to be brand new, and Friday nights are going to be something new to them. So what a great opportunity. August 31st, it's going to be bright. Lights will be there, and it'll be warm. But you know what? We're going to line up and play football.
Play football and win back the Axe.
Going into spring workouts and over the summer and 7-on-7 and all that extra stuff, it's been getting geared up towards that first game and setting the tone and going out there and getting that Axe back. So we're going to be ready to go. We're going to go out there and do it.
When you look up there and you see who our opponent is, yeah, it's extra motivation for the kids, absolutely. We are concentrating on being the best Sherman team that we can be.
Again, both teams and both communities really excited about this season and ready to get it underway. Battle of the Axe hosted on the first night of the regular season. It's going to be a hot one here at Munson Stadium, but it should be still a great game nonetheless. And still to come tonight on the First and 10 High School Football Preview Show, the Gunner Tigers looking to play at AT&T Stadium again this December. The obstacles they will have to face to get there, and we'll meet the new coaches patrolling the North Texas sidelines. First up in our top 5 plays of 2017, we'll zoom it in and speed up to watch Houdini work his magic. That's Scout Sanders somehow escaping 5 defenders, gets out of the pocket and hurls the perfect deep ball to Bradley Klingler. He catches it in stride and does the rest on the 70-plus yard score. More plays like that are on the way, so stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody, to the Texas High School Football Preview Show. Now, one of the most fun teams to watch in Texas, no doubt, has been the Gunner Tigers.
Absolutely. Gunner Tigers, we know, state champions 2 years ago, went to the state championship game again, but first they're focused on getting that 3rd district championship.
There's a standard here, and there's always been a standard. The way that we prepare, the way that we practice, okay, that's always been the way that we've won around here.
Winning is what the Gunner Tigers do best, and the sights have been set high in 2018.
There's no minimum to it. Everything, I expect a state championship out of this team, nothing less.
I'm just excited to get back out with my brothers again. We've been together for a really long time now, and this is our last ride, so let's see what we can do.
The Tigers are aiming for a 3rd straight trip to the 3A2 state championship game, and they know it'll be another tough journey to get there.
We understand that, everything restarts this year, and just because we've had success in the past, that doesn't mean that automatically we're going to have success this year. We've got to come out here and earn it every single day, and that starts with our seniors.
A senior class that is 39-5 so far, and ready to put more numbers in the win column.
Watching from the past seniors, I started in my sophomore year, and to be able to play with Trey Carr, he was probably the best leader I've ever played with. And just to learn and watch him was amazing, so I'm just going to try to do what I can to be a leader on this team.
One thing the Tigers do not need to worry about anymore, cutting the grass on home field.
Our school board and our administration, our community made this happen, so we've got a beautiful facility here and one of the best in 3A. So we're excited and we can't wait to play our first game here.
Well, the Gunner Tigers probably had the most success, but they're not the only team who had some success. We had multiple teams playing past that first week in the playoffs.
You're exactly right, and all those teams, a lot of them brought a lot of talent back, so they're hoping to play deep into the season yet again and make it to the 2018 playoffs. The Whitesboro Bearcats have become a familiar name to the Texas high school football playoffs as they go for 8 in a row this fall. They move into a tough district with preseason #1 in D1, Brock, but the Cats are more than ready to prove they're a contender this year.
It was a little bit frustrating the way we ended, with we didn't think we played a very clean game in that third round, and it kind of gives you a little bit of incentive during the off season, during summertime, and even now during two-a-days. We've been 7 years in a row now. We're going to try to make it 8.
The Collinsville Pirates are amped to get the season started. They're coming off a second straight trip to the area round and nearly made it beyond that in 2017. That's the goal for the Swashbucklers this year, to break through and play at least 2 playoff games.
They've been 2 rounds deep 2 years in a row here, so we got to kind of break that barrier. We got to get there first, but then we got to break that barrier of the second round. We got high expectations and from the players and coaches, so we expect good things here.
The Texoma Christian Eagles are coming into 2018 with a new quarterback and a new head coach. As athletic director Mark Ellison takes over the football program, and Ellison says having a face and name the players can trust will benefit the school right away.
When I came in as the athletic director to tell them I was going to take over the program, it was excitement. It was excitement about Coach Ellison coming back to the boys' side and helping out with football, and it was just a positive vibe all the way around.
So a lot of good teams and a lot of returning starters. Who are some of those teams you looking to make a deep run this year?
Yeah, Whitesboro every year, they've got the coach in place, the team in place, and then another team we watched have a little bit of a surprising run in the playoffs last year was Collinsville, and they return a lot of talent, so we'll be looking forward to those teams. And then, obviously, you never know as we get to the playoffs, there's always some teams every year that surprise us.
We mentioned the TCS Eagles will have new guidance this season. What about some of the other fresh faces on the sideline this fall? We'll take a tour of new head coaches coming up next.
Play number 4 is part mistake, part unconventional, and completely cool. Extra point is botched, but no worries. Cooper Smith sticks with the play and finds Blake Williams, who is Johnny on the spot for the 2-point conversion. Don't go anywhere because the top 3 plays of 2017 are coming at you later in our Texas Preview Show.
Welcome back, everyone. A new season means new opportunity both for schools and coaches. You see coaches either get promoted or go somewhere else if another opportunity arises, and we have a couple of those in Texas.
Yeah, no teams more than these 3 we're about to talk about are excited for the year, not only because it's a chance to make the playoffs, but a new culture with new coaches at all 3 of these programs.
After winning a single game in 2017, the Howell Bulldogs are more than ready to get the upcoming football season started. A new head coach enters the pound. It's Bill Jailing, who has been an assistant in the North Texas area before moving to East Texas. Now he's back, and he's ready to get to work.
It means everything to me. I love small school. That's where I want to be. And Howell is just a great community, great town, great support system, great place for my kid and to my wife to raise our son. And I just think that this is a God thing, and God put me in the right place at the right time.
The Tom Bean Tomcats are wanting to taste the playoffs in 2018, and they believe they have the man that can lead them there. Zach Wood, promoted to become the new Tomcats head coach. He's very familiar with the Texoma area. More importantly, the Tomcats are already familiar with him.
They need somebody that they're familiar with and that they have a relationship with already. That they don't have to think that they care about them or not, or be convinced that the coach cares about them. They already know that the coach cares about them.
After missing the playoffs last season, the Bonham Warriors are aiming to catch the eye of the entire 3A classification this fall. Warriors slide into the always tough District 5, and they know that just because the class size might be smaller, the challenge is at an all-time high.
I think it helps us as far as numbers. I think you even the playing field a little bit. But you got to keep in mind too, dropping a 3A doesn't mean it gets easier. We're in a great district with a lot of great teams. I think each week will be challenging.
So you have the Tom Bean Tomcats, the Howe Bulldogs, and the Bonham Warriors, of course, joining TCS, all with new head coaches and all probably look a little bit different next season.
Yeah, Howe, a little bit. They like to sling it around, but with a new coach, you never know what's going on. But that's my pick, but you know, it's early on, previewing the year. Nobody hold me to it.
Yourself, right?
Yeah, nobody hold me to it if things end up looking a lot different, because as we know, new coaches at this level of high school football can change pretty much everything for a team.
Well, you know, Bonham will benefit from dropping down from 4A to 3A, although they were in a tough district with the likes of Pottsboro and Van Alstyne. And they aren't the only one who moved classes when that Reed district dust settled. Here's some of the other teams making moves. The Bells Panthers also joining the ranks of the 3A classification, but they are trending in the opposite direction. Panthers moving up to 3A Division II, and they know with this move up, they'll need to play their best for all 10 weeks of the season.
We were in a pretty quality 2A district. We're moving into what we feel is a pretty quality 3A district as well. We're going to have to be well prepared. We're going to have a team that's ready to, it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a tough one. There's not going to be any easy games on the schedule.
No team has a bigger transition in Grayson County than the Tioga Bulldogs. The 6-man power school is moving up to 2A Division II, which means 11-man football is on its way too. The Bulldogs have been adjusting accordingly, especially on the offensive line.
We've got, a lot of linemen now that have not played much, but, they're stepping in there and doing a really good job. And I would say that's going to probably be the biggest transition, the different rules, not going downfield on passes and stuff like that. But that's all stuff that we've been working on and trying to get them ready.
So that'll be something we are definitely watching down the stretch. Two of the most high-powered offenses in our region, both going up a class, and that includes Tioga going from 6-man to 11-man, including a district with Munster. They're always going to be tough to play against.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter for these two teams, like you said, what district, what level, they score the ball, and Bells specifically bring back some key players on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to light it up the scoreboard every year, so I give them a pretty good shot to make the playoffs in their first year in 3A.
Well, only one more group to go on the First and 10 high school football preview show. The Pottsboro Cardinals and Van Alstyne Panthers, favorites to clash for a district title. But what about a deep playoff run? We'll look at that next. Well, you knew one of these top plays would involve the Gunner Tigers. State semifinals, Braden Clopton with the pick. He's got reservations for 6, a touchdown that slammed the doors on Canadian while sending Gunner to their second straight state title game. Who's number 1 though? Find out right after the break. Well, it's almost time to officially say let's kick off the season, but still a couple more teams to get to. These teams used to making the playoffs, and just a few years from a deep playoff run, they want to taste that again this season.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, for these programs, some of them made the playoffs, some of them didn't. They want to get back into the playoffs, obviously, but for these towns and these programs, they're used to winning big, and that step can sometimes be one of the toughest things to do, and they'll look to take that step this year. For the first time in 7 years, the Pottsboro Cardinals will take the field without the district champion target on their back. It's business as usual, though, in Pottsboro as they aim to reclaim the district title this season and make another run in November.
Stay healthy, number one. If we can stay healthy, I think we're going to have a really good football team, and we're just going to play good football week in and week out. We start the district off with Commerce and Van Alstyne, and we know they're going to be really tough, so we've got our hands full.
The Cards will once again have to compete with the Van Alstyne Panthers for the 3A Division I District 5 crown. In terms of the playoffs, the two haven't enjoyed the same success. Van Alstyne ousted by Sunnyvale in each of the past 3 seasons, but they feel confident this is the year that changes that.
To have some accountability within ourselves, obviously, not turn the ball over offensively and defensively, being able to limit big plays, just the typical stuff, but it's just going to come down to our leadership this year to really get us over the hump.
The S&S Rams are looking to have a big season in 2018. The focus around the team is the word finish. Had the Rams closed out 2 games in 2017, they could have potentially finished as high as 2nd in the district instead of 4th. They've been working to correct those mistakes and have some major goals this upcoming season.
You know, we talk about finishing in the classroom, you know, finish studying for your tests, finish your homework, making sure we're taking care of grades, and then we come out here, finish every rep, you know, finish practice strong with conditioning. And then on Friday nights, obviously, we've got to finish in the fourth quarter.
The White-Right Tigers come into the football season with a lot of experience. They're trying to bounce back from a less than stellar season in 2017. And they're hopeful this experience can help them through a tough district slate.
Well, I'm hoping all of them. We got a great group of kids. Most of them are returning. I believe we've got 8 on offense and 7 on defense, so we think that'll be a big positive for us this year.
Well, we already talked about that 5-3A1 district with Pottsboro and Van Alstyne, but what about S&S and White-Right this season?
Well, S&S, they always have a strong team, but they're going to move into a district with Gunner, and you know, Gunner Tigers are just a tough foe. As for White-Right, now they're going to change as well. They will have to go up against that high-flying offensive Bells we took, but change can be a great thing for these programs and the schools. You get to play a lot of different teams and players, and that can be exciting for these schools.
Well, Brendan, we know football for the toughness, the grit, and like the Friday night's glory, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially in this region. It's all about winning, right?
But you take the helmet off the kid and you put a camera and a mic in front of their face, and you really don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely no idea. This is my favorite part because I can really relate to these kids saying these goofy things because I do it all the time. So let's take a look at some of the funniest things we heard during two-a-days.
Yeah, it is a hard question.
Seriously? Come on.
More than one and keep going. And
make sure you put this on the news. Dylan Jance is a jokester.
I feel like jumping jacks are a little bit difficult for some of the heavy-set kids.
I'm being interviewed. Stop yelling.
Like, what do you want? You all up in my interview?
You want to come talk in the microphone? Yeah? You want some airtime? Come here. We'll love on you.
Well, we can definitely attest to that sometimes you put a mic in front of us and we don't know what we're going to say.
Yeah, plenty of times. I don't know what I'm going to say right now, so I can appreciate that. It's fun to see these kids not with their helmet on, not in that intense setting, and getting to see a little bit of who they are off the field.
You're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, now it's time we go from the funny bites to the best of the best. I know you like to do that on Sundays.
Absolutely.
At KTEN.
The best of the best.
So now we're going to do the best 2 plays that our cameras caught the 2017 football season.
The number 2 play of 2017 is Austin Bindle running a long way after an interception for the Sherman Bearcats, 100 yards to be exact. Bindle taking it the distance for the Bearcats for our number 2 play of 2017.
And the granddaddy of them all, the number 1 play of 2017. Let's take a trip back to week 1. White-Right's Marshall Mangrum over the middle, and Dylan Cordell with the incredible focus brings it in for the touchdown. A could-be interception ends up for 6. It doesn't get much better than that. Well, that will just about do it for the Texas High School Football Preview Show. Kickoff is tomorrow night. Brendan, do you know where you'll be?
I think I'll be right here for the 120th edition of the Battle of the Axe, and probably the hottest edition of the Battle of the Axe with it moving to week 1. It's going to be an incredible game. We'll have full coverage for you, and that'll get us going, and a great season hopefully is ahead of us.
And hopefully that is one of the best Battle of the Axe we've had so far. Now, all season long, you can catch Brendan and I on KTEN, the First and 10, every Friday night. We will guide you from the Battle of the Axe to hopefully a team holding up a state championship trophy in Jerry World. We'll leave you now with the sights and sounds of practice. We'll see you this fall.
Get out my way. Hey, I got it. Unstoppable. Got it. You unstoppable. I got it. You want it, then come and get it. Get out my way. Hey, get out my way. Hey, I got it. You want it, then come and get it. The way that I do it, you won't stop it. I'm so unstoppable right now. Get out my way. Hey, get out my way. Hey, I did it before. I'll do it again.